We're sitting down today with education expert Natalie to talk about ways to stop your student from procrastinating. Natalie, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So Natalie, we've all been there. It's Sunday night, okay, and there's a huge project due the next day, and we're running to the office supply store and we're trying to break into the school to get these materials, and before you know it, it's 1 a.m. and the project is finally done when they had like 2 weeks to do it.
Right.
So can procrastination be stopped?
Absolutely, it can. Parents just need to know how to help their students.
What tips do you have to help parents stop their procrastinating student?
The first thing is to start with small steps. So if the student is tasked with writing a term paper, start small. Take 5 or 10 minutes to brainstorm what they're going to write about, then tackle the first paragraph, second paragraph. Don't look at it as one giant task. Tackle it in small pieces, and that will help keep your student focused.
So once your child does get started on the work, what steps can you take to make sure that they actually complete it?
You want to help the student set goals for the session. Have certain things in mind that they want to accomplish. This will help them avoid getting overwhelmed by having a large project. It will again also help keep them motivated and focused on what they're trying to accomplish. You want to help your student prioritize. Kids have a lot of things on their plate, they have a lot of activities that they want to get to, and by helping your student prioritize and break down a task, it shows him that he has time available to do other things. So you can also look at setting a reward system in place, but it has to be a reward system that intrinsically motivates the student. We're not talking about financial rewards. We're talking about having the student have the satisfaction when he completes his list of goals and now realizes that he has time to go on the computer for an hour at night, something like that.
So you talked a lot about having kind of a plan in place where you're going to do this work for this amount of time and then have time for other activities.
Yes.
How do you plan that out, and what kind of an impact does having a plan or a schedule have on procrastination?
I think it all goes back to scheduling. Again, students today have a lot on their plate and they need to be aware of their own deadlines, their own appointments. So working with your student to have a calendar, maybe it's in their smartphone, maybe it's on the computer, or using a planner, and work with your student to understand how to use a tool like that and plan out everything, not just school assignments, but extracurricular activities if they have an after-school job. And being aware of the deadlines and the appointments will again help the student to stay focused, know what needs to be accomplished each day, and it all goes back to that feeling good and that sense of accomplishment when they've met a deadline or kept an appointment.
So let's say you're a parent at home, you're taking all these steps, but you're still finding that your student is procrastinating with his work.
So this is certainly not something that's going to happen overnight. This is going to be a work in progress. It will take some time working through all of this with the student, but you may have to let the student experience a negative consequence. For example, not meeting the deadline on a term paper. If they need to stay and work on it through the evening hours, maybe they don't get to go to the football game that's happening at their school. There has to be the consequence. You can't always be running to the office supply store at 11 o'clock at night. And by allowing the student to take ownership and realize that there can be consequences when tasks are not completed, it then helps break the cycle and have your student again go back to feeling the satisfaction when he does complete his projects on time. And it's also really important not to give up on your child. More often than not, they don't want to fail. They don't want to be missing deadlines. They want to do well in school. They want to make you proud of them. So you need to stick with it, be persistent, and just continue to work with that student until they're able to stay on task.
Natalie, thank you so much for joining us today. You've given us some great tips on how to stop your child from procrastinating.